My name is Lexi Presta. I'm a junior at Asbury University studying journalism and Christian ministries. One of my roles on campus is to be a resident assistant at Kresge, which is one of the girls' dorms here. But one of my bigger roles on campus is actually running our school newspaper, the Asbury Collegian, and I'm the executive editor, which is a fancy title to say that I'm the one who runs the board meetings and gets the final say over like what we actually print. And we also have a website. So basically, there's a team of writers, layout designers, photographers, videographers, because I want to utilize that more, and that kind of thing. And I work right under a faculty advisor. And so basically, it's just like a whole collaboration. But weirdly enough, I came into Asbury not knowing that I wanted to study journalism, but I took a class my first semester, and I got to write an opinion piece. And I remember my professor saying that he wanted us to write something we were passionate about. And I am very passionate about making sure that a lot of people who need insulin have access to it. And he was so encouraging, and he believed in me, and it ended up being my first published piece. And then I remember like telling people about it, and they're like, "Why did you write about this?" I was like, "Well, insulin is all about the survival of type 1 diabetics, and I am one." I was diagnosed on March 8th, 2010 with type 1, and as an 8-year-old, it was a lot, and I didn't really fully understand what was going on, and if I'm honest, I don't remember much of that day. I was in the hospital for a week. I literally just remember my mom taking me to we thought it was going to be like a normal doctor's appointment, but then it ended up I was rushed to the ER, and my blood sugar was like in the 700s, or it was really bad, and I just felt sick and exhausted, and I had been not very hungry, and I remember my mom telling the doctors like that I'd been acting like the complete opposite of myself, like because a lot of people might describe me, when I was a kid, I was described as bubbly and like energetic and just full of life, and when I was diagnosed, I was just completely drained and worn out. But I just remember her talking to them and saying like, yeah, she had a feeling that it was diabetes. It actually runs in my family. 2 of my other cousins, one has passed away, but both of them got diagnosed around the same time. And so she already had like a little bit of background information, but for me, I mean, my life had literally just been getting started, so it was just like a complete whirlwind of how to handle it. And honestly, like throughout the first few years of my diagnosis, like I acted like I was fine, like I acted like I was doing everything right. Like I would use this to check my blood sugar and prick my finger and do all that stuff, and I would say that I did it, and I would tell my mom and my parents like, yeah, my blood sugar is fine, it's like 118, which is like perfect range, and like I would lie. In reality, my blood sugar would be in 400s. I would never check it. I would pretend, just because I didn't want to accept the fact that I was a diabetic, because all I had heard about diabetes was like those jokes people make, like what's one? Like if you have Jim ate 10 candy bars and then he ate 5 more later, what does he have? And they'll be like, oh, he has diabetes. In reality, I learned that that's not what diabetes is at all, and I struggled for like the longest time processing that it wasn't anything that I did. Like there's nothing that I did that caused it. There's so many factors, including like environment, and the jokes you hear about like involving diet and habit of life and stuff, that's all type 2, which is like a completely different thing. And then it was just a time where it was very dark, and I was in the hospital all of the time. Like I just didn't want to take care of myself, and I just didn't want to have to live with something that was that heavy and that constant, because it doesn't go away. There's not a cure for it. I'm starting to doubt if there ever will be, but like, because I think people think that insulin acts as a cure, and it helps us survive. When it was created, like it was completely life-changing, and I've, as a 20-year-old now, I'm starting to understand what that really means about being able to actually access insulin when a lot of people can't. But like, and I would say about middle school was probably the lowest I got when dealing with diabetes. Like I remember one time, there's this thing that happens called DKA, and it was just a bad experience with like a lot of hospital stuff. But now I'm starting to see it as a way for me to connect with other people. Like there's like a few people here actually on campus that I've become close to through like a summer ministry team. And it's just really good to have that community, and like diabetic camps that I did as a kid that just really helped me form my identity in a positive way and not letting it control me, but like saying like I can control this, but even when I can't, God can, and He's provided so many opportunities through it. So overall, it's just I'm going to be okay because there is a plan, and I don't think that my life wouldn't be the same if I didn't have diabetes. And it hasn't necessarily been easier by any means, but it's definitely proven to be something that, I don't know, I think opened doors that I don't think were possible from before. So that's just like how I like to view it, even on the days where I don't feel like getting out of bed.